We completed 40. Yeah, we 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 finished 43, so it start from 44, I believe.
Sure. Okay, let's start. Tasmat pranamya pranidhaya kayam
Tasmat pranamya pranidhaya kayam
prasadaye tvamahamishamidhyam
prasadaye tvam ahamishamidhyam
piteva putrasya sakeva sakyuh
piteva putrasya sakeva sakyu
priyaha devasodhum.
priya priyarhasi deva sodam.
Yeah, let's do the last line again. Priyaha priyayarhasi devasodham.
Priyaha priyayarhasi devasodam.
So this is actually a complex word. Priya ya arhasi, right? Priyaya arhasi. So of course, priya, yeah, priyayaha means, priya means dear, and priyayaha means with the dearmost. I mean with somebody who is very dear. Arhasi means you should. So this is a sandhi. Sandhi means two words coming together, priya and arhasi, priyaya and arhasi. Okay, so Arjuna is now glorifying the Lord. Chapter 11 is the universal form, Vishwarupa or Virata Rupa. And he's saying, you are the Supreme Lord to be worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances and ask your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudence of his son, a friend the impertinence of a friend, or a husband the familiarity of his wife, please tolerate the wrongs I may have done you. Right? Sometimes kids talk nonsense, but the father is, tolerating that. A friend may be rude to a friend, but if you are a genuine friend, you tolerate that. And the husband may tolerate the familiarity of his wife. Wife may say, oh, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? And the husband may not be wasting the time, he may be doing something else, but he'll say, yeah, let me come and do whatever else is needed. And vice versa also works, right? Wife may tolerate the familiarity of the husband because the husband may take the wife for granted and say something. So he's saying, this is how we have tolerated, you have tolerated me. This is what Arjuna is saying. Just like a father tolerates a son, a friend tolerates a friend, or a husband tolerates the familiarity of the wife. So, purport, Krishna's devotees relate to Krishna in various relationships. One might treat Krishna as a son, or one might treat Krishna as a husband, as a friend, or as a master. Krishna and Arjuna are related in friendship. As father tolerates, or the husband or a master tolerates, so Krishna tolerates. See, that's why, right, whenever something goes wrong, we always blame God first. We say, God did this to me. You will ignore that you did something that is causing this to happen, right? Every action has a reaction. We'll forget that we committed some action. And then we'll say, uh, you know, Krishna, Lord is troubling us, right? Like in Hindi, there is a saying, Saas bhi kabhi bahuti. So, first when the bahu comes into the home, maybe the Saas says something which the bahu doesn't tolerate, right? I mean, she thinks that my mother-in-law is troubling me. Maybe she's not troubling, maybe she's trying to guide the person. And after a while, after 20, 25 years, fast forward, the bahu becomes the sas, and then she will try to coach her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law again thinks the same thing. Oh, my mother-in-law is torturing me. No, maybe she's just guiding you or teaching you the process and riti rivas of the family, right? So same thing. The Lord is trying to teach us something, but we blame him. Why are you doing like this? Well, he's free to do anything, right? But we demand that he only do things that we like, right? Like when 9/11, there was this church pastor in New York City. He said, God, where were you when this 9/11 happened? And God is saying, I was right there. I was punishing all the people who became very sinful. Right? So people ignore the fact that God has right to punish us, but we think that God should listen to us. Every little thing we should do, what we can do whatever we want, but God should not punish us. Right? For example, 9/11 was a punishment, Corona is a punishment, California forest fires are a punishment, but we think that God should not punish us. He should listen on our terms. But God does things on his terms, right? Why should he do on our terms? I mean, he's not obligated to, right? I mean, he is Swarat. Swarat means he can pretty much do whatever he feels like doing. Who are we to question him? We are nobody. So we should not question God. So Arjuna is now asking for pardon. Oh my Lord, I have been foolish to you, just like all these relatives are foolish to their other relatives. So please pardon me. So he's asking for pardon basically in this sequence of verses. Next verse. अदृष्टपूर्वं हृषिति अस्मि दृष्ट्वा
अदृष्टपूर्वं हृषितोऽस्मि
दृष्टपूर्वं
दृष्ट्वा
हृषितोऽस्मि दृष्ट्वा
भयेन चाप्रावयातिथं मनो मे
भयेन
भयेन
च प्रव्यतीतं
चाप्रव्यथितं
मनो
मनो
मे
मे
तदेव मे दर्शय देवरूपम्
तदेव
तदेव
मे
मे दर्शय
दर्शय
देवरूपम्
देवरूपाम्
प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास
प्रसीद
प्रसीद
एष
देवेश
जगन्निवास
जगन्निवास.
So now Arjuna is saying, he's sharing his realizations. He's saying, after seeing this universal form, which I've never seen before, I'm gladdened. But at the same time, my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. So, looking at this gigantic universal form, which is starting from the bottom of the universe and going to the top of the universe, and the 360-degree view, wherever he looked at the universal form's heads and hands and legs and fire coming from the mouth and all the Kauravas and Pandavas. I mean, not the Pandavas, but all the Kauravas and all the armies assembled, even on the Pandava side on the battlefield, were all going helplessly into the Lord's fire filled mouth. So, after seeing this, he's saying, I'm gladdened, but at the same time, my mind is disturbed with fear. That's what he's saying, bhayena. Bhaya means fear, bhayena, with fear, right? Darshaya Deva Rupam. So I've already seen your universal form. But now you please calm down. Please come back to your simple form of two-handed Krishna holding a flute, that kind of form, right? And he also says Jagat Nivasa. Jagat Nivasa means Prasida. Prasida means be gracious. Prasada and Prasida are somewhat related. So Lord's grace or mercy comes down to us as prasada. Prasida means be gracious. So these are all related words. If you learn sufficient Sanskrit, prasad, prasada, prasida, prasa. So all these are related etymological words. Okay, Sheshdev, can you read the purport?
Okay, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna is always in confidence with Krishna because he is a very dear friend. And as a dear friend is gladdened by his friend's opulence, Arjuna is very joyful to see that his friend Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and can show such a wonderful universal form. But at the same time, after seeing that universal form, he is afraid that he has committed so many offenses to Krishna out of his unalloyed friendship. Thus, you can scroll up, Prabhuji. I'm not able to.
here. Thus,
Thus, his mind is disturbed out of fear, although he had no reason to fear. Arjuna therefore is asking Krishna to show his Narayana form because he can assume any form. This universal form is material and temporary, as the material world is temporary. But in the Vaikuntha planets, he has his transcendental form with four hands as Narayana. There are innumerable planets in the spiritual sky, and in each of them, Krishna is present by his plenary manifestations of different names. Thus, Arjuna desired to see one of the forms manifest in the Vaikuntha planets. Of course, in each Vaikuntha planet, the form of Narayana is four handed, but the four hands hold different arrangements of symbols, the conch shell, mace, lotus, and disc. According to the different hands these four things are held in, Narayana are variously named. All of these forms are one with Krishna. Therefore, Arjuna requests to see his four-handed feature.
so in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that the various permutations and combinations of conch shell, which is the Shankha, mace, which is the Gada, lotus, which is the Padma, and disc, which is the Chakra. Right? What is 2 raised to 4? There are so many combinations of these things. 2 raised to 4 is 2 raised to 2 is 4, 2 raised to 3 is 8, and 2 raised to 4 is how much? 16. At the same time, sometimes the hand is raised, sometimes the hand is lowered. With those additional combinations, it comes to 64 different ways that you can see Lord Vishnu. So it's not like always his right hand has chakra. Chakra can be on his lower left hand also. So Narayana has 64 different forms. If you go to Dwarka in Gujarat, so my Guru Maharaj took us there to one temple in Dwarka, where Narayana has one of the hands lowered. It's not like four hands are up like this, holding the various ayudas. One of the hands is lower. So that is one of the 64 different variations. And of course, you may not be able to see all 64 variations in modern temples because about 40-50,000 temples have been destroyed by the invaders who attacked India from 1300 BC onwards. They've been attacking. Um, so not all forms are available, but the Shastra says that there are 64 forms in which the Shankha Chakra Gada Padma are in Lord's hands, and they are to be taken as such because we don't have actual temples which are available right now which show us those different forms. 1146. Kiritanam gadinam chakrahastam
Kirtinam
Kirtinam
Gadinam
Gadinam
Chakrahastam
Chakrahastam
ichchami tvam drashtumahame aham tataiva.
Ichchami Tvam
Ichhami Tvam
Drastumaham
Drashtum Aham
Tataiva
Tataiva
Tenaiva rupena chaturbhujena
Tenaiva
Tenaiva
Rupena
Rupena
Chaturbhujena
Chaturbhujena
Sahasrabaho Bhava Vishwamurte.
Sahasrabaho Bhava
Bhavo Bhava
Vishwamurte
Vishwamurte.
O universal form, right? That is Vishwa. Vishwa means world. Murte. Murte means world form, universal form. O universal form, O thousand-armed Lord. So it is said that he had 1,000 arms. I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmeted head and with club, with wheel, conch, and lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form. So this is very interesting. Although he has seen Krishna's two-handed form throughout his life, playing with him as his cousin, now he's longing to see the four-handed form. In the Brahma Samhita it is stated, Rama Dimurti Shukala niyamena tistan nanavataram akarod bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samabhavat paramah pumayo govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The Lord is eternally situated in hundreds and thousands of forms, and the main forms are like Rama, Narsimha, Narayana, etc. There are innumerable forms, but Arjun knew that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, assuming his temporary universal form. Right? So, Arjuna knew Krishna is the original, but he's asking to see the form of Narayana, his spiritual form. Right? Because when Krishna comes here, he doesn't show all his opulences. He does some superhuman activities like lifting Govardhan Parvat, killing Putana, Aghasura, Trinavarta, all these demons. However, here Arjun seeking a special Narayana spiritual form. This verse establishes without any doubt the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead and all features originate from him. Anybody know that verse from Srimad Bhagavatam? Sheshdev, do you know?
From Srimad Bhagavatam or Brahma Samhita, Prabhupada?
From Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a verse which says
Ah,
that Krishna is the
ah.
original personality. It is Ete Chamsha Khala Pumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Hridayanti Yuge Yuge. So he's not different from his plenary expansions, and he is the God in any of his innumerable forms. So Ete Cha Amsha. Amsha means form. Khala Pumsha. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So Ete Amsha Khala Pumsha. Let's see what comes. Yeah, here it is. 1:3:28. Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 3, verse 28. Okay, let's learn this shloka. Ete chamsha kalaha pumshaha
Ete chamsha
kalaha
kalaha pumsaha
Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam
Krishnastu
Krishnastu
Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Swayam
Swayam
Indrari Vyakulam Lokam
Indrari
Indradi
Vyakulam
Vyakulam
Lokam
Lokam
Mridayanti Yuge Yuge.
Mridayanti
Hridayanti
Yuge
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 Yuge Yuge.
All the above mentioned incarnations, because previously Sukadev Goswami is teaching Maharaj Parikshit the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he was mentioning so many avatars, right? Which are also mentioned in Brahma Samhita, Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamena Tishtan Nana Avataram. Nana Avataram means many avatars. Akarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu. And the Bhuvana means our Loka. So on the Bhuvana Loka, he has lot of these various avatars. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So all of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portion or portions of the plenary portion. So what is plenary? Let's look up this word. It's an interesting word. Means unqualified absolute, right? Plenary. So it's unqualified and it is absolute, but it's also a fraction. That meaning they are not giving here in this. Let's see if there is some other meaning. Plenary sessions of legislative, yeah. In the West, plenary took a different meaning. Plenary actually is a fractional thing. So if it's a fraction of a fraction, either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Means is the starting point. All these other avatars came from Goloka Krishna. Sometimes we think the Gokula Krishna is an avatar of Vishnu, but the Vishnu himself is an avatar of the Goloka Krishna. So this is the dichotomy, the challenge, right? A lot of people say, oh no, no, Krishna is just an avatar. No, Krishna is not an avatar. Krishna, the Goloka Krishna, is the original. How do we know that? In the Brahma Samhita, it says, गोलोक निजधाम नितले च तस्य देवी महेश हरिधाम सुते सुतेषु ते ते प्रभाव निहिशस्तयेन गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. So गोलोक निजधाम्नि तले च तस्य. निजधाम्नि, Nijaswarupa. Nijadham means my personal dham. Krishna's personal dham is Goloka. He comes to Gokula just to give us some happiness so that we can talk about him, we can get attracted to him. The purpose of incarnations according to Srimad Bhagavatam is so that he can display his variety and we can get attracted by his pleasing pastimes or leelas, right? Krishna stole butter. Krishna is eating butter. Krishna is giving monkeys butter. Butter is not very expensive, especially when you're talking about Vrindavan, where the whole lifestyle is cow-based lifestyle. So for them, butter is very, very common, right? It's almost like water. But when Krishna does these things with butter, it is something special. So all these leelas are described, right? So original Lord Krishna is coming from the spiritual world, right? Okay, Rekha, please read this.
Yes, Prabhuji. In this particular stanza, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is distinguished from other incarnations. He is counted among the avatars because out of his causeless mercy, the Lord descends from his transcendental abode. Avatara means one who descends. All the incarnations of the Lord, including the Lord himself, descend to the different planets of the material world as also in different species of life to fulfill particular missions. Sometimes he comes himself, and sometimes his different plenary portions are parts of the plenary portions or his differentiated portions, directly or indirectly empowered by him, descend to this material world to execute certain specific functions. Originally, the Lord is full of all opulences, all prowess, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation. When they are partly manifested through the plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions, powers are required for those particular. Sorry, it should be noted that certain manifestations of his different powers are required for those particular functions. When in the room small electric bulbs are displayed, it does not mean that the electric powerhouse is limited by the small bulbs. The same powerhouse can supply power to operate large scale industrial dynamos with greater volts. Similarly, the incarnations of the Lord display limited powers because so much power is needed at that particular time. For example, Lord Parashurama and Lord Nrsimha displayed unusual opulence by killing the disobedient Kshatriyas 21 times and killing the greatly powerful atheist Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was so powerful that even the demigods in other planets would tremble simply by the unfavorable raising of his eyebrow. The demigods in the higher level of material existence many, many times excel the most well to do human beings in duration of life, beauty, wealth, paraphernalia, and all other respects. Still, they were afraid of Hiranyakashipu. Thus, we can simply imagine how powerful Hiranyakashipu was in this material world. But Even Hiranyakashipu was cut into small pieces by the nails of Lord Nrisimha. This means that anyone materially powerful cannot stand the strength of the Lord's nails. Similarly, Jam- Jamadagnya displayed the Lord's power to kill all the disobedient kings powerfully situated in their respective states. The Lord's empowered incarnation Narada and plenary incarnation Varaha, as well as indirectly empowered Lord Buddha, created faith in the mass of people. The incarnations of Rama and Dhanvantari displayed his fame, and Balarama, Mohini, and Vamana exhibited his beauty. Dattatreya, Matsya, Kumara, and Kapila exhibited his transcendental knowledge. Nara and Narayana rishis exhibited his renunciation. So, all the different indirectly or directly empowered incarnations of the Lord manifested different features. But Lord Krishna, the primeval Lord, exhibited the complete features of Godhead, and thus it is confirmed that he is the source of all other incarnations. And the most extraordinary. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So this is the important point, right? Srila Prabhupada says that different incarnations come with only power that is required, right? So why do you need a cannon to shoot a mosquito when there is something simple like lifting the earth and putting her back in the orbit? He came as Varaha, right? And he talks about these three different incarnations. You see, empowered incarnation, Shakta Avesha Avatara, Narada. Plenary incarnation, Varaha. Varaha came, is like a single functional avatara, right? Came as Varaha, lifted Mother Earth, and that's done. And Varaha also came twice, not once. Right now, the Varaha who came in our Kalpa is called Sweta Varaha. That's why white Varaha. Huh? The boar who is white. So that's why we say Sweta Varaha Kalpe, Jambu Dvipe, Pradama Bhage, whenever we do pujas, right? So why? Because our Kalpa is Shweta Varaha Kalpa. He previously came as a different boar in a different bodily color or hue. And then he says indirectly empowered Lord Buddha. So Lord Buddha, he didn't have to do much. He just said, stop animal killing, which is mentioned in the Vedas. And then he just gave some limited instructions. So he's not like full incarnation even, right? Whereas Narada Muni gave a lot of signs of God or how to go back to Krishna. So that empowered incarnation Narada was in a way more powerful than the indirectly empowered Lord Buddha. So Lord Buddha's teachings were very simple, right? Ahimsa, don't kill animals, be nice to each other. There are some 12 principles or something that he gave. Not much. He didn't give much actually. And what are those incarnations for? To create faith in the mass of people. So Narada gave faith by giving Narada Pancharatra Vidhi, which is how to worship the Lord. Incarnation Varaha restored faith in God by saying whenever demons destroy the order, law and order of the universe, I come and I protect them, right? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyudhanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. So whenever such, adharma rises, tadatmanam srijamyaham. Aham means I come at that time. And then indirectly empowered, he didn't have to do any bodily feats as Buddha, right? He just sat under a tree. He just said, love thy neighbor, uh, don't kill animals. He gave basic instructions. Similarly, you could also think of Jesus, who is indirectly empowered, not directly empowered like Narada. He came and gave some instruction to the people, right? He said, okay, oh Father in heaven, hallowed be by thy name. So he's praising the name of God. And then he said, don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat. because people had become very degraded in that part of the world at that time. So, Desha Kala Patra, according to time, place, and circumstance, Lord either incarnates himself or he empowers somebody, some ordinary human being, to do extraordinary tasks. Like Srila Prabhupada is also an empowered incarnation because he's an ordinary human being, grew up in Calcutta, went to college like everybody else, in a Scots College in Calcutta. Um, he spent 10 years in Vrindavan, in the Radha, I believe it is Madan Mohan temple, I could be wrong, one of the deities there. I actually had the good fortune of going with Rampad Maharaj to actually see the room where Srila Prabhupada lived in that temple and where he translated Srimad Bhagavatam. Right, so that's a pious room. Everybody recognizes it as such, and they have basically nobody can enter that room. You can see it from outside, so it's almost like a museum right now. So the Lord indirectly empowers certain individuals to pass this knowledge on, because what Prabhupada has done, nobody can do. Nobody can do. All these Twitters and Facebooks and Googles, they have limited influence. But this one has extraordinary influence, right? It is changing people's lives. People are saying, okay, now I understand God. Let me, use my life in the service of God. Like that, so many people at a young age, they became brahmacharis, quit their jobs. So many doctors and engineers um, have quit their jobs and quit their professions and have become brahmacharis and are preaching to the people at large. Some of them have become sannyasis. Um, so one story comes to mind is one Swami who is now a Swami. His father was a very wealthy man. They had a massive bungalow in Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills means you have to pay like $25 million to have a bungalow there. Of course, if you need $2 million to live in Mercer Island, but that's nothing. That's peanuts. 2 million, 3 million is peanuts. Beverly Hill, you need 25 million, 30 million. One Indian dentist, he built a mansion for 124 million in Beverly Hills. Not dentist, plastic surgeon. So in different league. So this person, he came in contact with Hare Krishnas. This was way back in the 70s. And he said, Father, I want to go and join the temple. So what did he do? He went to the Los Angeles temple, which is about, from Beverly Hills, it's probably like 30 miles. And he started sleeping on the floor of the Hare Krishna temple in Los Angeles. It's still, those brahmachari ashrams are still there. When I went to the temple, I could actually walk past them and see that there are some brahmacharis hanging around. So somebody living a $25 million mansion in Beverly Hills and sleeping on the floor in a Hare Krishna ashram next to the temple, right? How much of a change is that? Because they were convinced that this is something very unique. Money anybody can make. Tom, Dick, and Harry can make money. These days, money making has become extremely easy, right? And January, Amazon stock was 2,000. Now it is 3,500. So money can be made by anybody. A lot of people are making money right and left. But to understand the science of God, you need an empowered personality like Prabhupada or like Narada, or to a certain extent like Buddha, to give you that knowledge of God, right? So that is called empowered incarnation, because anybody can teach you how to make $1 million. Very few people can teach you that $1 million is a waste. Think of the soul and get liberated once and for all. Your father is a trillionaire. Why are you worried about 1 million, 2 million, 10 million here, right? So only Prabhupada boldly announced that. Your father is much more wealthy. Why are you worried about this material acquisitions? You can go and acquire the kingdom of God, right? You can go and sit next to Krishna. So why are you worried about all this cheap stuff? So when people hear this from an empowered personality like Prabhupada, that's it. They don't get married. They join an ashram. They chant Hare Krishna day and night. They preach this knowledge through distributing books, creating, even some devotee created this website, right? so that we are able to exchange this knowledge on the internet. So all these things happened. Amazing. Why? Because a pure devotee, an empowered incarnation, um, came. Empowered incarnation is a human being, but he's empowered to a certain extent that he can change people's hearts. Right? So that Shakti Avesha Avatar. So Lord Shakti is given. You and I also have Shakti, but it's like 0.00001%. So when it is substantial, like Srila Prabhupada had, he can propagate this knowledge around the world. Yeah. So this is a very, very important purport. And then Prabhupada says, so all the different directly or indirectly empowered incarnations of the Lord manifested different features, right? For example, Narada Muni manifested feature of knowledge. Srila Prabhupada demonstrated the same thing, feature of knowledge and feature of kripa, so that he can give this Bhagavad Shakti to dumb idiots like us. Right? We are all dumb idiots. We don't know anything. But he is somehow or the other drilling this knowledge into our heads. Right? Anybody think they are smart on this call? Please speak up. Yeah, we are not smart. We are dumb idiots. But this knowledge, so Srila Prabhupada has this Kripa Shakti to drill this knowledge into our heads. If he just gives it to us in a piece of paper, it is not sufficient. That's why he spoke thousands of times.
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ డాడీ ఏం చేస్తా ఉండవు
So somebody stop me.
ఒక నిమిషం ఉండు డాడీ
Okay. So what Srila Prabhupada is doing through his lectures, through his books, he is drilling this thing into our heads so that it goes and sits there. Right? So all of these indirectly or directly empowered incarnations are manifested different features. They are manifesting different features like Kripa Shakti, Jnana Shakti, knowledge. But Lord Krishna is very unique, very, very unique. The primeval Lord exhibited the complete features of Godhead, and that it is confirmed that he is the source of all other incarnations. So Krishna demonstrated 100% qualities. Some avatars like Lord Ram demonstrated maybe 94% qualities. Some avatars like Varaha maybe demonstrated 88%. And again, there is a scientific calculation in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I'm just giving you approximations. And human beings are also like God. We are 64% qualities of God. So we are missing 36% qualities. That is why we are here and the Supreme Lord is there. Right? So, but the individual jiva is always a servant of the Supreme Lord. Just because you get liberated doesn't mean that your 64% will become to 88%. No. Jiva Shakti is Jiva Shakti and Bhagwan is Bhagwan. They are different. Always different, eternally different. And Jiva Swarupa hoy Krishnera Nitya Das. The Jiva is a Das or servant of Krishna. When we think we are the master, we leave the spiritual world and come to material world. So we all try to flex our muscles against Krishna in the spiritual world. We said, Krishna, what's so great about you? I can also do all these things. Krishna said, really? Okay, then go and do some experiments in planet Earth. And we are here, struggling in Mercer Island, in Redmond, in Bellevue. Life is a struggle. Every day it's a struggle. Padapadam yad vipadam. Every step is a pain in the material world. You lift your hand and you put lift your leg and put the next, and there could be something on the ground there. You can slip and fall and break your ankle. Padam padam yad vipadam na tesham. So padam padam, every step is a danger in the material world. You're already seeing that. And we'll see more if we don't listen to Krishna, and if we don't surrender, he's going to tighten the noose. So right now we have coronavirus and flu. Then he can introduce a third dimension. And if you don't still listen, he'll introduce a fourth dimension. If you don't listen, he'll introduce a fifth dimension. So there could be corona, flu, attack from Mexico, attack from Canada, and forest fires already we have. And then all the crops will also get burnt. So there won't be any facilities for us to live properly, right? So why is he doing that? A father has to discipline his kids, right? Otherwise, we are donkeys. We don't listen. So the father has to discipline his kids. A good father disciplines his kids. And that's what he's doing. He's disciplining us. He's saying, get out. What are you wasting your time here for? Like that. And the most extraordinary feature exhibited by Lord Krishna was his internal energetic manifestation of his pastimes with the cowherd girls. Right? So previously, if you remember in one of the verses, I think some of you joined late, but we discussed this. As a husband, as a lover, as a father, as a mother, as a friend. Remember Arjuna says, just like a father tolerates his son's impudence. Impudence means rashness. Or a husband tolerates his wife's familiarity. Because after a while, right, initially we treat our spouses with great respects. 10 years after marriage, we don't care. We just, we become too familiar. So Arjuna says, just like the familiarity of between a husband and a wife, right? All these things Krishna tolerated. And here again he's saying, but the best manifestation is pastimes with the cowherd girls, the gopis. The pastimes with gopis are all displays of transcendental existence, bliss and knowledge, right? This is Sat, Chit, Ananda. There are only three things we need. Sajita Ananda. Sat means eternity or existence. Chit means knowledge or consciousness. Bliss means Ananda. So, this existence is Sachidananda, but apparently people who with a sexual mind, they'll think that Krishna is also having some sexual affairs with the gopis. No. Their Rasa Leela is not a sexual affair. That is very different. But people with the sexual mind, they think that Krishna is also doing this hanky-panky business with the gopis. Because that's what, whatever our mind is, right? We think the world is like that. So in the scriptures it says, Atmavan manyate jagat. So if I am a donkey, I think the whole world are full of donkeys, right? If I am a liar, I'll think everybody is a liar. So we put our mental model on the world. Like Duryodhan, Atmavan manyate jagat, he said, everybody in the world is bad. And Yudhishthira, Dharmaraj, was saying everybody in the world is good. Right? Because Yudhishthira was good, a kind-hearted person. He said everybody in the world is good. And Duryodhan had this attitude problem. He said everybody in the world is bad. That's called Atmavan Manyate Jagat. So similarly, a sexually motivated person will see Krishna with gopis and say that is also a display of sexual activity. Because he has no better knowledge. Yeah. So that's why Prabhupada says the specific attraction of pastimes with the gopis should never be misunderstood. So right now we are in a very elementary stage. We are in Santarasa, means neutrality. But once we elevate our rasa by chanting Hare Krishna and developing love of God, then hopefully within a few lifetimes, we'll get this specific attraction of the gopis to the Lord. So we'll be spontaneously attracted to the Lord. You say, thinks, Krishna, Kana, where are you? Like gopis used to go to Kadamba trees and they used to hug the Kadamba trees and say, this is my Krishna. And people who would see them, they would say, these people are gone crazy or what? These girls, young girls, 13, 14, 15 years old, they are going and hugging these Kadamba trees. Because their love for Krishna is so serious and deep, they see Krishna everywhere, right? And since a tree is tall and stout, right? strong, they think, oh, this is Krishna. My muscular Krishna is in front of me. Let me go hug him. So they're hugging the trees with that love of Krishna. Krishna was not there. I mean, Krishna left Vrindavan a long time ago. He was already in Dwarka. Right? He was a king there. But the gopis could never tolerate the fact that Krishna left them. So that is called Vipralamba Bhava. Vipralamba Seva means in you serve Krishna in separation. Right? So if Krishna is in front of you, you serve. That's okay. But when you serve Krishna, although he is not in front of you, that is love in separation. Vipralamba Seva. These are all advanced concepts. But since this is an advanced topic in Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm going there. You may not be able to understand it. I also fully don't understand because I'm not in that bhava, right? Only a gopi can come and tell us how she feels for Krishna. We don't feel for Krishna. We don't feel for anything actually. Even with our family members, we don't really love them. We just say, okay, I married this person, so I'll just hang around. Okay, I have some kids, I'll just hang around. Because if you really love your kids, you will teach them about Krishna, right? We don't really love our kids. We love a little bit. We'll give them some school education, some basics like that. So, yeah, I cannot explain what gopis feel because I don't have that love for Krishna in my heart. But we have to trust what the acharyas are saying. Specific attraction of his pastimes with gopis should never be misunderstood. So the Bhagavatam relates these transcendental pastimes in the 10th canto. These leelas are described in the 10th canto. And in order to reach the position to understand the transcendental nature of Krishna's pastimes with the gopis, the Bhagavatam promotes the student gradually in the other 9 cantos. So it's like you're taking step by step. You're going on a staircase. And then after you cross 9 stairs, 9 cantos of Bhagavatam, in the 10th canto, the intimate pastimes of the gopis. So the gopis were like that. They would just hear Krishna's flute in the forest. They would just by hearing Krishna's flute, right? They would leave their kids. They would leave their husbands, mother-in-law, father-in-law, everybody, and mother, father, everybody, whoever was around, right? And they would run to the forest because of what was known as spontaneous attraction to Krishna. So according to Srila Jiva Goswami, okay, so Disha Mataji, read from here.
Yes, Prabhu. According to Srila Goswami's statement, in accordance with authoritative sources, Lord Krishna is one of the source of all other incarnations. It is not that Lord Krishna has any source of incarnation. All the symptoms of supreme truth are full present in the person of Lord Shri Krishna. And in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord emphatically declares that there is no truth greater than or equal to himself. In this stanza, the word Swayam is particularly mentioned to confirm that Lord Krishna has no other source than himself. Although in other places the incarnations are described as Bhagavan because of their specific functions. Nowhere are they declared to be the Supreme Personality. In this stanza, the word Swayam signifies the supremacy of the Samam Bonam.
Bonam means it is a
Bonam.
Latin term, everything. Everything put together, the sum total of everything is called Samam Bonam.
Samam Bonam. My brain was thinking Sanskrit, so thank you, Prabhu. The Samam Bonam Krishna is one without a second. He himself has expanded himself in various parts, portions, and particles as Swayam Rupam, Swayam Praksha,
Prakasha.
Tada Ek Prakasha, Tad Ekta Ekatm Ekatam Ekatma, Prabhava Vaibhava, Vilasa, Avatara, Avesha, and Jivas, all provided with innumerable energies just suitable to the respective person and personalities. Learned scholars in transcendental subjects have, Prabhu, you mean to move up a little bit, please? Have carefully, uh, sorry, where is it gone? Prabhu, I think it's two up. We scroll down a little bit. Okay. Analyze the summum bonum. Krishna have 64 principal attributes. All the expansions or categories of the Lord possesses some percentage of these attributes, but Sri Krishna in the possessor of these attributes okay, 93% of the transcendental attributes. Lord Shiva, who is neither Avatara nor Avesa, nor in between. Prabhu, the mouse is moving at different rate than I'm reading it.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Shiva, who is neither Avatara nor Avesa, nor in between them, possesses almost 84% of the attributes. But the jivas, or the individual living beings in different statuses of life, possess up to the limit of 78% of the attributes. In the conditioned state of material existence, the living being possesses these attributes in very minute quantity, varying in terms of pious life and of the living being. The most perfect of living beings is Brahma, the supreme administrator of one universe. He possesses 78% of the attributes in full. All other demigods have the same attributes in less quantity, whereas human beings possess the attributes in very minute quantity. The standard of perfection for a human being is to develop the attributes up to 87% in full. The living being can never possess these attributes
So
like
it's not,
Shiva,
it is not
Vishnu,
87, it is 78, right?
78, 78%, yes. 78% in full, sorry, Prabhu. The living being can never possess attributes like Shiva, Vishnu, or Lord Krishna. A living being can become godly by developing the 78% transcendental attributes in fullness. But he can never become a god like Shiva, Vishnu, or Krishna. He can become a Brahma. He can become a Brahma in due course. The godly living beings who are all residents of the planet in the spiritual sky are eternal associates of God in different spiritual planets called Hari,
Haridhama.
Haridham and Maheshadham. The abode of Lord Krishna above all spiritual planets is called Krishnaloka or Goloka Vrindavan. And the perfected living being, by developing 78% of the above attributes in fullness, can enter the planet of Krishnaloka after leaving the present material body.
So,
Wow.
what is the percentage of God's qualities we need to have to go to spiritual world?
78.
Yes, 78. That's what Prabhupada is saying, right? He's saying Shiva himself has only 84%. Sri Krishna is absolute cent percent, means 100 over 100. Cent per cent. Okay?
Mm,
And then he's saying his personal expansions are Swayam Prakasha. Prakasha means light, right? Emanating from him,
mm,
Swayam Prakasha. And Tad Ekatma, up to categories of avatars who are all Vishnu Tattva, possess up to 93%. Right? So Lord Ram is 93%. And others are less than that. Right? Somebody is 92, somebody is 91. So, for example, if you come as Varaha, not you, but Supreme Lord comes as Varaha. He may not have full 93%. It's not needed. He just is unifunctional, right? Just one function. So he will do that function and go back. But Lord Ram has 93% because he did so many things, right? He taught how Ramarajya should be, like how an ideal king should be. Um, he taught how demons should be punished. So many things, right? Lord Shiva is neither an avatara nor Avesha. Avesha means energetic. He possesses 84%. But Jivas, you and I are Jivas, right? We can possess a maximum of 78. Right now, we don't have 78. We probably have like very less. I don't even want to say that. Um, we have very few good qualities right now. So we can work our way up to 78%. And once we come to the 78%, who do we become equal to? Brahma.
Brahma.
Brahma is 78. Because Brahma is just on the cusp of going back to Godhead, right? So when the pralaya happens, what does Brahma do? He takes the sages from Satyaloka, and actually the sages from um, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka will be given a lift, just like you take an elevator and you go to higher floors. So Brahma will say, Are Baba, all sages come, please, we are going now. Pralaya is coming. So he'll take the TJM, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka saints with him, and then he will take them to the spiritual world at the Pralaya time. Again, spiritual worlds, there are many, right? Chaitanya Charitamrita also says that if you take a bag of sesame seeds, how many sesame seeds will be there in that bag? That many spiritual worlds are there. That's that many Brahmandas are there, like that. So he will take all the sages and then he'll say, okay, let's go. He'll take them to the spiritual world. So it's not like everybody can make it to Goloka Vrindavan. Goloka Vrindavan is a very special place, right? We should have the feeling like just like gopis, they're willing to give up everything. They're willing to give up their mind, their possessions, their kids, their reputation. For a woman, reputation is the most important thing, right? They're willing to give up their reputation, everything for Krishna. Then those are the people who are qualified to go back to the spiritual world, right? Because when Rasa Leela is happening in the middle of the night in the forest, it is not considered normal for a family woman to leave home and go into the forest middle of the night. But because the gopis did that, their reputation was also at stake. But they said no. If Krishna is feeling happy, we will go there, right? Once there's a story, Krishna's headache. Krishna supposedly had a headache, right? The Brahmana started reciting mantras. Different people were doing different things. But somebody told them that if you give the dust from your feet and put it on Krishna's forehead, that headache will go away. And all the Brahmanas said, how can we do that? He's the Supreme Person. It is an aparada to put dust from our feet into Krishna's forehead. But the gopis said, it's okay, I will do the aparada, I will go to hell, but if it can cure Krishna's headache, my going to hell is well worth it. So they passed the test, right? When it means that you are willing to do everything for God, means to the point that even if I go to hell, I want my Lord to be happy. Right? So that's why they passed the test, and all the regular people who followed the Vedic path, they failed the test. Because they thought, how can I do this? We have to just worship Krishna, that's it. Huh? Krishna has headache, that's none of my business. But gopis were thinking, Krishna has headache, oh my God, I have to take care of Krishna. No matter what it is, even if I go to hell, I will give the dust from my feet to Krishna's forehead. So, yeah, so we can go up to Brahma, but Brahma will take us to the spiritual world at the time of Pralaya. Of course, you don't need to wait for Brahma to take you. If you develop the pure love for Krishna, Krishna himself will come and take you to the highest portion, right? So, highest portion is Goloka Vrindavan. But there are intermediary stages. So, I have a PowerPoint for this, for these intermediary stages. So, you can read this and kind of think about it. So, Sheshdev, can you explain this chart starting from Goloka Vrindavan?
Uh, Explain in the sense, Prabhuji.
Read it.
Yep. Goloka Vrindavan, that's where Krishna rests eternally. Navadvip, that is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested. Mathura, Dwarka is where Krishna Lila happened. Ayodhya is Sri Ram, Janmabhoomi. Vaikuntha is where Narayana resides. Satyaloka is Satyaloka is where Brahma resides. And then we have that's part of the seven higher planetary system. Tapa, Jana, Mahar. That's where all the sages. So that's where we get, or anybody who wants to advance in the material world, they go up to Satyaloka through all this Mahar, Jana, and Tapa. Dhruvaloka is a special planet uh, made only because of the penances from Dhruv Maharaj. Um, Prabhuji, question on Dhruvaloka, is that the only planet that doesn't get, uh, or the only planet in the material world that doesn't get annihilated during Pralaya? Or
No,
even that
during
gets,
during partial annihilation, it doesn't get affected. But during complete
yes,
annihilation, Dhruvaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, everything gets annihilated.
everything.
Brahma takes all these sages and then he takes them to spiritual world. Spiritual world
Spiritual
doesn't
world.
mean Goloka Vrindavan. Depends on the mood, right? So they can go to various Vaikuntha planets. That's about it. After that, to go to Ayodhya, Dwaraka, Mathura, Navadvip, and Golok, that is very, very special. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is allowing us to go till Navadvipa if we follow his process. And then only Krishna holds the keys to Golaka Vrindavan. You can do anything, but he may not be willing to take you. Only if he, I mean, if he desires, he will take you. But that's not in our hands, right? But of these
Yeah,
other things, other places, if you follow the process, you can go.
right. And there's one point on the high planet, the spiritual planet like Mathura, Dwarka, Ayodhya, Vaikuntha. These are not the ones here on the material world. I mean, those are just the reflections of what the actual Mathura, Dwarka, Ayodhya, and Vaikuntha in the spiritual world.
Correct, correct. Yeah. Okay, continue.
Uh, Saneshchara is Shaniloka.
No,
Brihaspati
then they,
Graha,
no, these are stars, right? These are the group of seven
yeah, these are
stars.
stars.
Sapta
Ah,
Rishi
okay,
Mandala.
got it. Yeah, Angaraka, that's a star. Buddha, Shukra, um, and then we have the sun, moon, and Rahu. So, I know, and I think Prabhupada, or you were mentioning, right? I think what Prabhupada told that where they say they landed on the moon is actually on Rahu and not the actual moon.
Correct, correct. Yeah. Because the moon is a heavenly planet. So human beings are not allowed there. So they may have ended on Rahu or some of the other meteorite or something else, but definitely not
Hmm.
on the moon, Chandra, Loka. There is also one
Right,
stream of thought which says there is Chandra Graha, which is different than the Chandra Loka, and Chandra Graha is supposedly closer to Earth. Because these people say that in 11 days they went to the moon. I mean, 11
Hmm.
days means it's not, they didn't really travel very far, as you can imagine. So they went very close by. They didn't really go very, very far.
okay. Then continuing in the high planetary system, Swarga Loka, demigods. That's where Indra. resides. Siddhaloka, Charanaloka, Vidyadharloka, semi-demigods. Antariksha, okay, Rakshasas, Yakshas, Pichasas, and ghosts. That's between uh, the Earth, Bhuloka, and the high planetary system. There's also one thing between Earth and Trishanku. Trishanku is that somewhere here in the Antariksha part?
Must be somewhere in here, because if you look at the traditional scriptures, they don't mention Trishanku. So it's more likely
Okay,
in that Antariksha Mandala. So these are all
right,
various mandalas, right? Various planes. Antariksha Mandala.
correct,
After that, you have Siddha Charana Vidyadhara. That is one layer, one mandala, like that. Swargala. That is in one mandala. These are all different planes. And then Dhruva
right.
Tara, Dhruva Mandala. And then, so yeah. Um, the Trishanku must be somewhere in that Antariksha Mandala.
That right. Yeah. Then the rest are where humans are. Jambudvipa, Earth. This is the only place that we are actually aware of. There's so many other places where the humans reside. Lakshadvipa, Salmali Dvipa, Kushadvipa, Graunchadvipa, Sakadvipa, Pushkaradvipa, Bila Swarga. So these are the middle planetary systems.
No, these are all subsets of
The
the
Earth.
Jambu Dvipa. So Jambu Dvipa
Got it.
has these different concentric circles. So Dvipa means island, right? So they are
Got it.
concentric islands. They are like circles. And then there are human beings on all these different Dvipas. Then
So
one
does that
mandala,
mean Earth has,
sorry,
sorry, so does that mean Earth is a planet and then the Dvipas would be like the continents?
that is one way to look at it. But Earth is not just this planet Earth, right? This go, like if you have Mount Meru, our Bhugol is close to Mount Meru. And then there are concentric circles around Mount Meru. So that is Bhu Mandala. This is Bhu, what is it called? Bhugol. We live on the Earth planet. But there is Bhu Mandala, which is the Earth plane. In the Earth
Got
plane,
it.
it's more than just our planet. There are other things also that we cannot see right now. I mean, how far have human beings gone? Hardly any distance, right? Your space station is only 200 miles distance from Seattle to Portland, roughly. That's it. People have not gone very far into to see all these things. Okay, continue.
Got it.
Right. And then the lower planetary system starts. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, where the different Daityas, Danavas, and Nagas stay. Patala is for demoniac serpents. Pitraloka is for Yamaraj, and then the hellish planets below that. Anantadeva is for Lord Ananta or Lord Shankarshana.
Yeah, so basically, all these planetary systems are being supported by Ananta Deva on the head of the great serpent Ananta or Sankarshana, Lord Sankarshana, who is an expansion of the original Supreme
Balram.
Lord Krishna. So, Lord Krishna expands into who? There is a first Chaturviha expansion. Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Vasudeva. And from the first Sankarshana comes second Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Vasudeva, and Pradyumna. From the second Sankarshan comes Karnodakshaya Mahavishnu. From there comes millions of universes. From there comes what? In each universe, Karnodakshaya Vishnu enters as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So all that is happening here. This is like the grand scale. All these little planetary systems and mandalas are there sitting on the head of Lord Anantashesh. And below that is Garbhodaka ocean. This is the causal ocean. So such a huge structure. Huh? We are little Lilliputs here, sitting in some small town. There is this complete structure from top to bottom. So what do you think? You want to continue to stay here in Bhumandala or go somewhere else? So a standard of perfection for a human being is to develop the attributes up to 78% in full. That's it. 78% is the bar. And once you come to 78%, that's it. You'll achieve escape velocity and you get out of this material creation. Until then, punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam. You'll take birth and you'll die millions of times until you come to that consciousness of, I want to get out of this world. A lot of people actually want to be in this world for whatever reason, right? You talk to them and say, yeah, what is wrong with this world? It seems okay, You just have to work for 10 hours every day to just get one plate of food. That's okay, not too bad. People think like that. Living being can never possess Shiva, Vishnu, or Lord Krishna. We can never become like any one of this. No way. The abode of Lord Krishna is Krishna Loka or Goloka, Vrindavan, the topmost. So, this was a segue from a segue. We talked about how Srimad Bhagavatam talks about him being the original personality. So, what we discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam is all this one little verse. Etecha amsha kala pumsha. If you know this one verse and if you meditate on it, you'll understand that we are so small. There is this so much hierarchy and structure, which even most of the Hindus don't know. Christians, no clue. Muslims, long way to go for them to understand this. They are all trying to go where? Where are Christians and Muslims trying to go?
Swargaloka.
That's it. Yeah, Swargaloka. They say, "Oh Father in heaven, hallowed be by thy name." Or, Father in heaven, give us our daily bread. Their only prayer is, give us some bread to eat. So, I mean, that's okay. But there is a lot more. There's a lot more. So basically,
I mean, do they even believe in rebirth?
they don't. They say that if you do a lot of sins, you are eternally put into hell.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I don't even know whether they are thinking about Swargaloka
No,
because
that's the
for
thing.
them
They're
it,
thinking about Swargaloka. They have some description of heaven in their literature. Because what is Bible ultimately? It is just a subset of the Vedic literature, right? So it is like 0.01% of Vedic literature put together for fishermen and carpenters by Jesus, not even Jesus, Jesus's disciples, because that portion of the world, they were not ready for higher knowledge. But this knowledge was given to great sages, actually. This is not normal knowledge. Because of Swami Prabhupada, you are getting all this. Otherwise, none of the Brahmin priests since my childhood, nobody taught me this. Only Prabhupada, that's it. What does the average priest do? He will take some, in India 51 rupees, in America $51, and then he'll say Ayur Arogya Aishwarya Abhivruddhi Rastu. Means Ayur means long life, Arogya means good health, Aishwarya means good wealth, wealth. Ayur means long life. Abhivruddhi means improvement. Astu means may all these improve in your life. And you take birth again and again and stay here. Just like is dunya mein sarte raho. That's their blessing. Not to get out of this world. That blessing is to rot in this material world.
They don't give blessing for bhakti. They don't give blessing
Yeah, they don't
for.
give blessing, right? I mean, I'll tell you what, till I was 36 years old, till I came in contact with Srila Prabhupada's books, I used to think this material world is to take blessing, go to office, earn money, eat, drink, and then take rest and die. Because that was the blessing they were giving us. Long life, good wealth, good health, and some people will also add good spouse. That's it. They were not telling you anything. So when I first saw these Prabhupada's books that I came to, only in ISKCON Seattle, although, when I was 5 years old, my father brought Krishna book from somewhere. It was just lying there in the bookshelf, right? Never read it really. So only after coming to Seattle ISKCON Temple and Harulas Maharaj and so many other, saints like Rompad Maharaj, different sannyasis, and my Guru Maharaj, they were all talking about this. Then suddenly aha moment came to me. Arey, there is so much more to learn. It's not about giving some money, getting some blessings, and one fine day just dying. So yeah, their blessing is a curse actually. In indirect terms, they are saying, "Isi dunya mein sarte raho." Suffer and struggle in this material world. That is their blessing. So we have to get out. For people who are unfortunate, like I invite so many people to this class, they will very politely decline, as if they are doing me a favor by declining. Every week I get some declines for this class. Here there's knowledge, highest knowledge, but if you don't take it, it's not my problem. I have this knowledge and I will apply it and I'll go back to God. But what about the rest of them? Right? So, what can we do? So that is depicted in this chart, right? This is the material world with all these 7 heavenly and 7 subterranean planets. And then this is Goloka, Navadvipa, Ayodhya, Vaikunta, then Kailasha, which is Shivaloka. I don't think I had Kailasha in my other chart, do I? I should add it here. Anyway, you get the idea. So, only an amsha, a fractional portion or plenary portion, Srila Prabhupada uses British English, plenary portion, is all the avatars. But Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, he is the original Bhagavan. And Vyakul Hona means you are getting disappointed with your life. Indrari Vyakulam Lokam, we are all Indras because we all want to control something or someone. So, because the Indras like us are getting Vyakul or getting disappointed with life, Mridayanti Yuge Yuge, the Lord comes every Yuga or many times in a Yuga. In Kali Yuga, he already came twice, 5,000 years as Krishna, 500 years ago as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he'll come at end of Kali Yuga as Kalki to finish everybody. It is said that Kalki will finish at the speed of mind. Right now you have guns, right? The guns will come at whatever, 100 miles an hour, the bullet will come at you. But this is killing at the speed of mind. How far can you go in mind? Dubai, I am right now in Dubai. How fast did I go there? Much faster than a jumbo jet. Jumbo jet goes 1,000 miles an hour. I'm talking about what? I went to Dubai in half a second, less than half a second. So he will kill at the speed of mind because people will become so sinful. So I don't want to come back to end of Kali Yuga. If possible, I want to go back to Godhead in this lifetime only. Right? Who wants to come at the end of Kali Yuga when everything is so much difficult? So think about it. If you want to come back to end of Kali Yuga, you don't have to do anything. You are guaranteed to come back. But if you want to do something with your life, then do something with your life. Chant Hare Krishna, read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Change your life. Okay, let's chant now.